What's up, Taiwan? I'm Louise with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Both supporters and opponents of Taiwan's death penalty are slamming a court ruling that the punishment is partly unconstitutional. The decision is in response to petitions by people on death row, who argued that the death penalty goes against the right to life guaranteed by the country's constitution. A key moment in Taiwan's use of the death penalty. After months of discussions over its legality, the Constitutional Court gives its decision. The penalty is constitutional, but its scope must be narrowed.
选择死刑作为最重本刑，目的在此行为人承担相对应之罪责，责任公正应报及遏阻侵害生命法益之重大犯罪，于目前仍为特别重要之公共利益。
Surveys show around 80% of Taiwanese support the death penalty. The country's 37 death row inmates had argued the punishment goes against the right to life enshrined in Taiwan's constitution. In a 7-5 vote, the justices ruled that the right to life is not absolute. But they said the death penalty could only be used for the most serious premeditated murders and crimes leading to deaths, effectively limiting its use because of the potential difficulty of defining what constitutes the most serious crimes. That has angered relatives of victims of Taiwan's death row inmates, like Lu Jinde, whose 9-year-old son was kidnapped and killed in 1987.
你大法官没有资格来 用这个解释宪法来违抗我们全国的民意。
On the other side of the issue, campaigners for abolishment expressed regret.
我们呼吁政府跟民间还是应该要持续的进行社会对话。未来我们还会继续的努力，希望有一天死刑不存在于台湾的这片土地上。
Campaigners say they believe none of the death row cases meets the new, most serious threshold for the death penalty. They say they will continue to help the 36 men and 1 woman on death row to fight to overturn their sentences, meaning the controversy surrounding Taiwan's capital punishment goes on. Luffy Lee and Louise for TaiwanPlus. Today is Taiwan's National Disaster Prevention Day, and one of the country's top civil defense organizations has been training citizens in what to do should a conflict break out. Wesley Louise was there.
Here at this park in Taipei, civil defense experts are training people on what to do in the event of a war. These annual drills, known as the Blue Magpie Operation, have been organized by Kuma Academy, one of the country's leading civil defense groups. Over 100 participants have taken part this year, despite the rain. They have been split into teams of 10 for a day filled with various exercises set in the center of Taipei, which organizers say simulate the possible chaos if a conflict were to happen in the city.
Because 70% of our population resides in urban area, so it's quite likely that this kind of evacuation or mass casualty relief scenario will happen within the metropolis.
Along with training participants on how to respond to a crisis in an urban environment, Kuma Academy is testing their adaptability, physical strength, and emergency medical techniques, all skills that organizers say are critical in a high-pressure environment.
A lot of the participants, they've taken classes for 2-3 years, but there hasn't been kind of this combined scenario where they have to pull out all the skills all together.
To make the drills more realistic, organizers have instructed professional advisors to only offer limited help. Interest in Kuma Academy and civil defense increased drastically after Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022. And as Taiwan continues to be a potential flashpoint between China and the US, organizers say drills like these are more important than ever. John Su and Wesley Louise in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan is marking National Disaster Prevention Day on the anniversary of its deadliest earthquake on record. A new documentary follows a Canadian photojournalist who took pictures of that destruction. As Chris Gorin reports, the film tracks down the subjects of those photos more than 2 decades later.
My editor called me from the paper and told me about a hotel building they heard collapsed in the Songshan area. and they were rescuing people in and out. And I noticed there was one lady, and the firefighter, he put his coat over her to keep her warm, and maybe to be more modest, because she had like night clothes on, I think. And I pressed the button right then.
A new documentary on the devastating 7.3 magnitude earthquake that struck Taiwan on September 21st, 1999, has been released for the 25th anniversary of the disaster.
A special screening of the film was hosted by the Canadian Trade Office in Taipei. It follows the experience of Canadian photojournalist David Smith, who captured some of the most enduring photos of the earthquake and its aftermath.
The quake, referred to as the 921 or Gigi quake, killed close to 2,500 people and destroyed 50,000 homes. Smith says his commemoration project holds special significance for him.
It's been on my mind. That's the biggest news event I've ever covered, was the 921. And it affected me a lot, just covering it emotionally. It might be kind of cool to try and find people in the pictures.
And I thought that was crazy. That was definitely Mission Impossible. I look at the photos. There was, there was an earthquake baby. There's a rescue worker. There's a firefighter. No, it's not possible to find people from the photos that someone took 25 years ago. It's not possible. I mean, people change. I think the reason that I really wanted to make it happen was, unlike typhoons, earthquakes are not predictable. It could happen just 1 minute. It could happen now.
One of the people in Smith's photos, a newborn baby, delivered just days before the quake in a remote indigenous community, was particularly difficult to track down. Director Roger Zheng remembers the moment he realized he had found her.
I just got goosebumps. when the village chief said, "No, I know this mother. She's Miss Huang." I was like, "Really?" Yeah. I will send you her line message between him, myself, and the mom. And I sent out a photo and say, "Yeah, that's me and my daughter."
The filmmakers were able to track down all three of the people from the photos. While Smith says the experience of photographing 921 was pivotal for his career, even leading to international photography awards, he says it took an emotional toll.
Doing the earthquake stuff, you feel like a ghoul. I mean, when I was at Taichung, they had containers that were refrigerated, and it was just stacked full of bodies. Little kids' pictures, decorating them with toys and stuff, and then incense. And it's just like, you can't look into people's eyes without seeing the hurt. And unless you're soulless, you're going to feel something.
But the filmmakers say they were glad to be able to document a key moment in Taiwan's history, and that lessons were learned from the tragedy.
I'm really happy about it, and hopefully it's a piece of Taiwan history and people will remember it. And I'm kind of proud to do that, to be part of Taiwan history, or to record part of it, I mean.
Revisiting 921, now available to view on TaiwanPlus, comes almost 6 months after another major earthquake in April. It offers a reminder of how far the nation has come since that defining tragedy 25 years ago. Kamashu, Pichi Zhuang, and Chris Gorin for TaiwanPlus.
A news website is reporting that the US is close to approving a security aid package for Taiwan. It's valued at $567 million according to the report by US-based Defense News. That would be the largest such package to Taiwan to date, nearly double what the US sent last year. The aid has reportedly been approved by the Pentagon, but it still needs a signature from President Joe Biden. It would include funding for training, drones, and air defenses. A 22-year-old Taiwanese man has gone missing after traveling to China. His family say they haven't heard from him since he landed in Shanghai on August the 27th with 2 other people. The missing man's relationship with the other 2 is unclear. Taiwanese officials have warned of traveling to China in recent months after Beijing amended its national security laws. The Straits Exchange Foundation, a semi-official organization that helps manage cross-strait ties, has sent a letter asking for information about the missing man.
如果他是被 中国大陆相关的公安单位滞留的话，其实应该我们很快可以得到消息。各位也知道，中国大陆非常大，那各种的事情都有可能发生。如果非有必要，尽量减少去。如果真的去了，请务必上陆委会。
Japanese officials have told tens of thousands of people in northern Ishikawa to evacuate to escape heavy rain and flooding. Videos on social media show the extent of the flooding and landslides, submerged buildings and blocked roads. At least one person is reported missing. The Land Ministry says dozens of rivers have burst, and the country's weather agency issued its highest warning. The area is still recovering from a magnitude 7.5 earthquake that hit on New Year's Day. Taiwan ends up throwing away a lot of food each year. Now, one farm in eastern Taiwan is looking to process this waste with a little bit of help from some very small friends. Chris Gorin reports.
These fly larvae may not look appetizing to humans, but they do to chickens. And they may be key to solving one of Taiwan's thorniest problems, food waste. An elementary school in Taiwan's eastern Hualien County has brought its students to this fly farm to learn all about what will eventually become black soldier flies.
黑水虻是把厨余吃掉的虫。黑水虻它很可爱，然后会吃垃圾。黑水虻是黑黑的又很小的又可爱的昆虫。
The field trip not only seeks to turn student views of these bugs from gross to cute, but also to make them aware of the bigger issues.
透过这样子的导览，跟体验，刚有请他们摸一下我们的肥料嘛，那就希望说，小朋友可以把这个观念带回去给爸爸妈妈，那就厨余就是尽量爱惜惜食，减少厨余的量，有厨余的话也是要分开来。
Officials in Taiwan estimate that the country throws away about 620,000 metric tons of food waste annually. That's enough to fill Taiwan's tallest building, Taipei 101, 10,000 times. Finding a way to deal with this waste is critical, as Taiwan's garbage incinerators are already at full capacity, resulting in a growing number of trash mountains piling up around the country, waiting to be burned. But food waste can also be turned into fertilizer, and in this case, animal feed. From when it hatches through its 2-week larval stage, each worm can consume 30 times its weight in food waste. The fattened larvae not only become a high-protein meal for chickens, but also help with another waste problem, manure.
这边呢，有没有闻到很臭的味道？没有。对，这是因为黑水虻那转换成很有效的菌让这个菌呢除了被鸡吃以外，剩下繁殖在这个地方一样做非常大的功能，叫去溶解鸡的粪便。
Each year, Taiwan chicken farms create about 2.2 million metric tons of manure. While some of this can be used as fertilizer, it's estimated that around 70% goes unprocessed. The fly's own feces can be used as fertilizer too, providing benefits throughout the insect's entire life cycle. While these fly farms are relatively small in scale, they offer a glimpse into the many possibilities for managing the country's waste, rather than just throwing it in the bin. Eason Pan and Chris Gorin for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. We leave you now with images of teams taking part in the World Cup, the Subbuteo World Cup. It's held in Tunbridge Wells in England, where the game was invented. I'm Louise Watt. Take care. We'll see you next time.